What's up, guys? My name's Trex, and welcome to the North American Challengers Tournament Weekly Recap. Now, every week, I'm going to start releasing a highlight video where we break down several highlight moments from each series, each game played throughout the past week of NACT. So, if you're not able to watch every game live, you don't feel like going back and watching all the games, but you still want to know how the teams got to where they are at on the leaderboard, this is going to be the place to do it. We're going to try to keep it sweet, simple, each video to about under 15 minutes, and we're going to do one for each day. Now, we weren't able to do day one because we had some issues in the editing process, and I don't want to have to do it all over. Honestly, this is probably the most time I've spent clipping and editing a single video, so please bear with me in the process. I promise these are going to get much, much better. So, into day two, up front, we have Weighians up against Area 77. Now, the most important thing I think to note about game one is that Weighians decided to pick X-Borg jungle. Definitely very off meta, kind of an ode to Pogi, who's the jungler for Area 77, because this used to be a very hot pick for him, and even when it wasn't meta, he did very, very well on it. The question is was Weighians able to do the same thing? Now, early on in the game, it was pretty tied. Weighians were keeping up, but right around this moment is when Area 77 fight back. Gals Cutie on the Franco, able to secure a lot of damage onto some enemies, lock them down long enough to where Mark Cutie can actually pop off. Chacho never able to keep his shield up long enough, and he's never able to secure any big objectives here. Now, we are 6 minutes into this. Both of them were able to each get a turtle, but still, Area 77 always seems to come out a little bit on top in the midst of these team fights. Pogi going deathless the whole time. I mean, it's just kind of rough. Eventually, towards the end of the game, Pogi's 3-1-8, Mark Cutie 7-1-5, and even when Weighians get these perfect setups, just perfect clashes, Weighians aren't able to secure anything major. I mean, it just kind of becomes a major problem, and my whole outlook at this whole series was that they just didn't have enough damage, and Hove, who was on the gold lane, goes 3-4-4 or 3-5-4 by the end of the series, and he's the only one who's really outputting anything. Ashley also doesn't have the most amazing game, and with this, Gals Cutie is able to get enough picks, enough pressure throughout the game that the rest of the team is able to exert the pressure and take them out. Now, going into game two gets a little bit interesting, and honestly, in this whole series, I mean, out of all the series in day two, Area 77 versus Weighians was my favorite. I got a little bit tired in series two because if you don't know, this game ends up going for a total of 30 plus minutes. I want to say 32 minutes. It was definitely epic. Weighians get a little interesting in this draft. Ashley picks up the Xavier. They pick up the Terizla. Overall, I mean, I felt like Area 77 had the better draft. And as it all starts, Area 77 does kind of have the advantage. First blood goes over to the side of Area 77. Pogi gets a wonderful pick, and he shows already how well he's going to do on this Akai. First turtle comes up, and we just see how Gals Cutie is able to use the time journey so well. Mark Cutie consistently getting into the back line and pushing Weighians away while the rest of their teams secure these objectives. Chacho tries to do a good job at stealing this first turtle, but in the end, Pogi ends up getting it, and it secures the first neutral objectives for the side of Area 77. Skip now into about 16 minutes. All three turtles have gone to the side of Area 77. They've taken lords. They've pushed in towers. And I mean, at this point, Weighians feel like they're just at the back foot, and there's no way for them to come out of it. But here's the kicker. Towards this final lord push, Area 77 finally takes a large hit. Ashley able to stand in the back line, fire off these dawning lights, hold everyone down, and Hove actually starts to get some nice torn apart memories off. They're able to get a double kill here, push Area 77 away, and eventually take a lord and turn things into their own hands. I mean, we go all the way down to 32 minutes. This is just an insane game. I didn't want to have to clip all the big moments from this, but the general thing of this is that Ashley comes on deck and is just shredding them apart. Into game three, it's kind of close, right? But in the end, Area 77 gets this huge gold lead of about 5,000. and they are just tearing Weighians apart. Weighians, game 2, we could kind of call it iffy. Maybe Area 77 just weren't able to get the finish, and somehow they come back. But in the end, my overall just of this whole best of 3 series is that Area 77 was the better team at this time. Honestly, a lot of people think that they should have taken game 2, and they just kind of show that in game 3. They bring this super heavy aggression. Chacho picks up the Hayabusa, and Pogi actually decides to go Roger jungle, which is something that's just out of this world, right? I don't think any of us thought we were going to see a Roger in the NACT, but Pogi does it, and he does it perfectly. And in the end, they take the whole best of 3 series. Now, the next series of the night is BTK versus Empire. BTK is coming into day 2 with a huge loss from day 1 under the belt. They get completely annihilated from the Ohio brothers. And one thing I can say is you don't always want to go against Mobazane after a big loss like day 1. He comes into this very hungry. Empire is a team that a lot of us casters believe could end up being one of those teams that catches some upsets. And a lot of us wondered if they were going to be able to take on BTK tonight. Now, we'll just see how it unfolds, right? Because Empire gets a pretty nice start. Jordan's Empire gets first blood against T, who honestly, T's just been having a pretty rough weekend. T and Yato, a lot of us, I personally thought they both were going to do really good. And so far, they've been having it a little bit rough. Luckily, Zane just does amazing with these objectives. Taking a look at this turtle fight right here, you can already see where he's at. He comes around the bottom side. T does do good at trying to distract them. Empire tries to get onto him, but he's still able to take it, even with all of that pressure on him. And this, I think, is where BTK just starts to skyrocket a bit, right? They have a 2,000 gold lead. Zane gets pulled in. He's still able to take the second turtle, which is honestly just insane in my book. The man gets fatal links and still finds it. Yato from the back line at this point, starting to fire off some nice dawning lights. And at this point, BTK is just on a roll. They've got a 7,000 gold lead or something, and there's nothing that Empire can really do. Mobazane is 6-0-6, having an amazing game, and even though the rest of his team is a little bit shaky, he's able to carry them to victory in game 1. And overall, it's just kind of textbook for BTK. They end the game with almost an 8,000 gold lead, and they secure this base with ease. Now, game 2. Game 2 is where things get very, very interesting, right? Game 2, BTK goes for a slightly standard draft. They pick up Alot. It's the first time we've seen him in the top 8 so far. Mobazane picks up the Granger jungle, which I am super iffy about when I first see this, because he picked up Granger in M4. It really wasn't that great. A lot of teams have been trying to rock it here and there, but it never seems to work out. And then they pick up a bunch of other dash heroes. And what does Empire do to answer this? They pick up the Phoveus. Not only that, they have Demon running mid lane Julian. They have Reckless on this Kaja. But the real spicy thing about their draft is that they have 5 fighters, essentially. No marksman, no gold laner. It is all or nothing early game. We want to try to shove your team down into the drain. And Empire almost pulls it off. They start off the game very strong. Alex getting a double kill in the first minute and a half. It's insane, and this is exactly what you want when you have the Martis, right? Eventually, at around 3 minutes, it's 2-2, but Empire still has a gold lead of over 1,000. Joybaj makes a huge mistake. Alex pops off with the decimation, and at this point, we're like, holy crap, Alex is 3-0. Look at Mikasa under the tower, opening up space, and this puts Alex at 5-0. 5-0 on a Martis at 3.5 minutes. Later on, they think they're going to gank Mikasa, but no, you don't gank Mikasa. Mikasa ganks you at this point. It's literally a 1v4. The man doesn't die. They end up turning it around, and at this point, we're all like, holy crap. BTK is about to lose their second game to Empire. And not only that, this was the real nail in the coffin, right? This is the moment that we're like, wait a second, Alex is popping off. BTK, this is bad. Mobazane, what are you doing? Oh my God, Alex gets the maniac. Let him cook. But no, they're not able to get Mobazane. And the only saving grace that they have here is that Mobazane has not taken a death yet. And I think his team knows that, right? His team has the plan down. we're just going to feed Zane. He's on the Granger, and this is possible. And right around the 9-minute and 40-second mark is when we see that plan start to come to fruition, right? He's 2-0-1, and by the end of this fight, we start to see the possibilities here. He starts getting a few kills. Empire not looking as strong as they were before. Yes, it is a 3-man wipe from BTK here, but look what Mobazane does here. He picks up a couple kills. They're almost able to find another one, and for the first time, Empire seems like they're on the run. I know it's not an even trade, but you can start to see the presser switch here. BTK secures a Lord, and then there's this huge setup, and Zane is on the prowl. He goes from being like 3-0 to 9-0 in a matter of 4 or 5 minutes. Mikasa's trying to get onto him, but he's just outplaying him. It is beautifully well done, and from here, the tide starts to switch. BTK has finally closed the gold gap, and they've actually almost taken the lead. This game ends up going all the way into the 20-minute mark. Both teams at 64k gold, and BTK ends up making a huge play. Joybaj with a nice pick. Mobazane does get petrified, but he's already able to clean up 2 members, make that 3, and I think this is the final nail in the coffin. We thought Empire was going to be able to take this game, but BTK just shows complete calmness when the pressure is on them, and they take home the win, a 2-0 sweep. I know it's just against Empire, and a lot of people consider this one of the lower tier teams, but this was a very, very fun game to watch. After this series, we go into the third series, Gosu versus Lamy top. Now, I personally put Gosu as the winner for this. Lamy top is kind of sitting at the lower echelon of these top 8s, but we don't want to completely count them out yet. So we come into this series thinking of maybe a 2-1, but Gosu ends up taking game 1 pretty seriously. Lamy top does end up getting the first blood, and Gosu looks like maybe they could have some trouble in this game. But when we come down to the first turtle, Anna shows calm of mind and secures it for the team. They're not able to end up getting any kills with this push, and it kind of makes a slight misplay there, almost dashing through the big part of the wall, but not really understanding how that works. Now, second turtle, though, this is when Gosu starts to pop off. Guapsi and Midnights make some big plays, a lot of damage. They take out 2 members. Guapsi putting himself at 2-2-2, not the greatest score, but he is able to at least rack up some gold. As the game goes on, Anna is able to continuously secure objectives. They put themselves at 3 turtles and the first Lord. It's very huge for them, and this is where, I mean, at this point, they have about a 2,000 gold lead, and Lamy top is on the back foot. There's not really a way for them to come out of this. Gosu just continues to put the pressure down. Guapsu went from being 2-2-2 to 4-3-4, and after this, he is going to be a little bit more. He's able to secure another kill, giving himself the triple by the end of this scene right here, and I mean, Gosu just kind of handle it from here. Lamy top has a bit of trouble. I feel like there's still a lot of kinks that they need to work out in their compositions. They come off strong sometimes in the early game, and when they have a lead, they play very well. But it seems like whenever they're on the back foot, whenever they are behind, they're not able to hold their composure. Game 2, it seems a little bit of the same. Honestly, Game 2, they have a really good start. Golem gets some nice fatal links during major objectives. They're able to secure their first turtle in both series. And Golem continues to get nice sets like the one we're seeing right now. And Flea and Mara are there to capitalize on these sets. And this is the first time we're seeing Lamy top really work well as a team, I feel like. Be in syncs. Their comms seem nice. And the calls that they're making are all correct. Here's the problem. They never get a kill onto Anna. And during this first Lord, Anna's able to make a huge play happen, right? She's able, and it looks like she doesn't. It looks like it's a mistake, but what she ends up doing here is pushing Lamy top a little bit at bay, and then Yuzi ends up doing something big, right? Anna finds Mar, tries to push Assault back. She does end up going down here, but while all that's happening, Yuzi is able to take the turtle. Maybe it's a huge play by Mar, maybe not. Lee goes down, there's no retribution, and it gives Uzi the opportunity. We come down to another turtle at about 17, another Lord. Sorry, I've been saying turtle the whole time. That was a Lord that Gosu's able to secure. So the whole time, Lamy top looks like they're kind of in the lead there. Gosu gets that first Lord, and the tables start to turn. Anna, by this point, it's 17 minutes in, she's 5-1-3. So, I mean, Gosu kind of puts this game into their own hands. They end up getting a 3,000 gold lead. Golem is no longer as useful as he used to be. He's not able to make the big sets. And by the end of it, Gosu ends up securing the win here, which is very, very solid, right? It puts them at 2-0. The day before that, they take the loss 1-2, so now they're sitting a little bit even on the field. The next series is one a lot of us thought was going to be hyped, but honestly, it kind of just turned into a slaughter fest. It's Ackerman versus the Ohio brothers. Ackerman proving in day 2 that they are still top of the echelon. I was really excited for this matchup. I thought it was going to be like Hoon versus Nicolette, Zia versus Basic, but it just turned into a complete stomp fest for the Ohio brothers. They try to bring in this Valir Roam to deal with the Ohio brothers. We thought it was maybe going to be a clutch pick, but it gets completely bullied in there early. Toinks goes 0-2, 0-3, and 1 within the first half of the game. Nicolette gets 2 deaths. Shark just making some great picks. And the Ohio brothers overall, like what we just saw, they're working as a unit to where Ackerman seems a lot more split up in this series, and it just seems to be a problem. Not only that, best player does amazing at securing some objectives, and even when Ackerman does secure the other 2 turtles, the Ohio brothers still make the plays happen. By 9 minutes, they have a huge lead. By 15 minutes, they have a 7,000 gold lead. They've got another Lord, and they are crashing in trying to end this. Ackerman just not really able to keep up with them in game 1. I mean, honestly, I feel like it was the Valir pick. Toinks gets a little too aggressive in that beginning, takes a couple early deaths, and by that point, he is just dead weight for his team. Basic played an amazing game, but the honest star of this whole series is Hoon. In game 1 right now, he is 6-0-5. This man is deleting people. He's yeeting people. There is nothing he can do. His feathered airstrike is 5 times stronger than Nicolette's, and he doesn't even have the original one. They take this game cleanly in 16 minutes and 5 seconds. Now, game 2. Game 2, right? We think maybe Ackerman's going to do a little bit better this time. They have a decent lineup. Nicolette is on the Lunox. We hope it's going to do great, but no, Shark helps make these picks happen. And not only that, Toinks thinks he has a good Newman on Blast, but Hoon responds back with an even better one. Hoon is the king at stealing your skills right now and making you look bad for having them in the first place. Now, here we go. We see them working as a unit, and Ackerman is holding it together. Zia able to get a nice turtle steal there, but every time Hoon comes in the big clutch in game 2, surprisingly was actually Basic. A lot of people have been doubting Basic, but he clutches up in this game. I mean, he gets the 1-1, yes, but he makes it work so cleanly. But every time a big play happens for the side of the Ohio brothers, it is a team play. And that, I think, is the big difference between them and a lot of other teams in the NACT right now, right? Right now, they are playing as a team, and they are putting nails in every coffin that they go against. So, overall, I think it was a good night. This moment right here, I'm casting this moment. I thought they had it. I literally called it 2-0 GGs, but they weren't able to finish it. But this is when they do finish it, right? At this point, there's nothing Ackerman can do. It's a 3,000 gold lead, and yes, it's not that much, but the Ohio brothers are just playing so well, and Basic, honestly, is the one who ends up finishing this all off. He's about to go... I mean, we worry about him. He picks up a kill here. Toinks actually ends up getting the stun on him here, and right before he dies, he gets the crossbow of Tang off, gets his whole health bar back up. The Ohio brothers smelt. They're like, oh, wait, Basic's not dead yet? We're jumping back in here. We're going to try to make something huge happen here, and that's exactly what they do. They've wiped out 3 members. It's nothing but Toinks and Nicolette. Make that Nicolette and Zia at this point, and they want to end it. They're not going to stop the aggression. They move in. Base ends up going down, and the Ohio brothers take a beautiful win, 2-0. Now, this video lasted a little bit longer than I expected, but hopefully you guys enjoyed. That was the day 2 recap. Let me know your thoughts on how next week is going to go, what your favorite series was, what your favorite highlight moment was. And I'm sorry, literally, I just did this video by watching all these clips you guys have saw while recording it live. Sorry if it was a little messy. We're going to try to do better, but I really wanted to get this first one out before the end of Friday. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think and what you want to see next. I'll see you guys for the next NACT recap.